What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. So we got some big news here. President Biden, there's more classified documents that were found here. I'll give you his response here and all the details here on that. So let's jump right in here. If you're new to our channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on any new videos. It's completely free to do so. And also, thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. All right, here we go. Okay, apparently there's a second set of classified documents found in Biden's garage after a search of his two residents. After the first set was found and sent back to the National Archives, they have now searched all of his documents and found a second set of classified documents. These are Obama era documents. Take a listen here.
Well, we're learning, Jose, from one of the president's attorneys that they are confirming what NBC first reported, which is that they've found additional classified documents in a separate location from the initial batch of documents they found here at the president's office in Washington, D.C. after he left the vice presidency. What they're saying about this is that after those documents were discovered on November 2nd, the president's team conducted a search of his homes in Wilmington, Delaware, and Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and that they turned up a number of classified documents at that home in Wilmington, particularly in the president's garage and in another location within the house in Wilmington. And they're also saying that they did not find documents at the Rehoboth home. So the president's attorney is confirming what we've reported, which is there are additional documents out there. Now, they're also saying that this search, which was designed to sift through all these materials that the president packed up when he left the vice presidency in 2017, that search to go through those documents is now complete as of last night. So presumably that means that the White House, the president, his team feel that they have a hold on the scope of this issue. And they're saying that they turned those documents over to the archives. And those documents obviously will become part of that review by the Justice Department. And underscoring the president's lawyer is that the president and the White House continues to fully cooperate with that review by the Justice Department, Jose.
Here is what President Biden had to say about it. Also, apparently his wife, Jill Biden, has cancer. So here's what he has to say about that here right after this as well. Take a listen.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, okay. Classified material next to your Corvette. What were you thinking?
Let me, I'm going to get a chance to speak on all this, God willing, soon. But as I said earlier this week, people, and by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage, okay? So it's not like you're sitting out in the street.
So
but at any rate,
was in a locked garage.
Yes, as well as my Corvette. But as I said earlier this week, people know I take classified documents and classified material seriously. I also said we're cooperating fully and completely with the Justice Department's review. As part of that process, my lawyer has reviewed other places where documents from my time as vice president were stored, and they finished the review last night. They discovered a small number of documents of classified markings in storage areas and file cabinets in my home and my personal library. This was done in the case of the Biden Penn. This was done in the case of the Biden Penn Center. The Department of Justice was immediately, as was done, the Department of Justice was immediately notified, and the lawyers arranged for the Department of Justice to take possession of the document. So we're going to see all this unfold. I'm confident. Thank you very much.
How you doing? Good to see you. How's the first lady, sir? How's the first lady?
She's doing really well. She was under a long time for 5 hours because what they were doing is would do the Mohs, meaning remove what they thought might be cancerous, and they'd have to then go back and test it and see what it was. But she's doing really well. She's up. We had breakfast this morning. She's recovering, and she's gonna be sore for a while because of the work they did on her eyes. And but that's where one of these were. but she is a 0 to 1% chance of ever return of any cancer. And so thank God she is doing really well. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, so more classified documents found here, kind of underneath the possession here of President Biden. Who, these are Obama era documents that have just kind of been filed away for years, apparently, and just kind of been sitting there. Also, I want to show you here what just happened here from Karine Jean-Pierre, White House press secretary, and I think it's a Fox News reporter. Kind of a heated discussion here that happened at the White House with a back and forth kind of question answer session. This is a good one here. Take a listen at this one. This will answer a couple questions here for you as well. Take a listen to this one.
Thank you, Karine. First, does President Biden have confidence in Transportation Secretary Buttigieg?
Yes.
Why?
Because Secretary Buttigieg he respects the secretary and the work that he has been doing. You have seen the secretary on TV. You have probably spoken to him yourself, and they are doing everything that they can to make sure that the experience that Americans have is a good one. That's why they've held the airlines accountable. You've seen the secretary do that over and over again, and we understand. We understand what Americans have been going through these past couple of months. That's why the secretary has been very clear on making sure that they are held accountable. Has put in processes in place to make sure that occurs. And yes, the president has confidence in Secretary Buttigieg.
And then on these documents, how could anyone be that irresponsible? Isn't that what this president says about mishandling classified documents?
The president spoke to this personally. He spoke to this personally. He believes that classified documents and information should be taken seriously. He takes them seriously, and he was surprised to learn by any records have been. I disagree. Here's what happened. Once
Then why is there a Justice Department?
Well, let me explain to you the process. Here's what happened when his lawyers found out that the documents were there. They immediately turned them over to their archives.
But they were
But
there
they
in the first
immediately
place.
turned them over to the
you say
archives.
They did the right thing.
I'm not
when they
gonna
figured it out.
go into specifics, but what I am reiterating to you is what you heard from the president yourself, Peter, which is how he saw the process and how he respects and truly respects and takes this very seriously, and when he knew, and how surprised he was by it, and the actions that the right actions that the lawyers took. Again, this is under investigation, is under review by the Department of Justice, and we're going to let that process continue.
How can President Biden be trusted moving forward with America's secrets?
Because his lawyers, his team did the right thing.
But he had a closet with
His
classified
lawyers
information in
did
it
the
that
right.
they found. How did it get there?
Again,
Did the
he
lawyers
did.
do
He
the
was
right thing?
surprised that the records were there. He spoke to this
But they were
personally.
there.
He was surprised that the records were there, and when his lawyers found out and his team found out that they were there, they turned it over to their archives, and now it's being reviewed by the Department of Justice.
And just one more. Why didn't President Biden want to see what's really going on at the border?
He did see exactly what's going on at the border.
He didn't talk to any migrants, and he didn't go anywhere that people actually cross illegally. Why not?
But he went to the migrant center, which was a critical place to be when you think about the partners who are our partners who are helping support the migrants on the ground there. There happened to be no migrants at the facility at the time that he visited. But let's
Because El Paso has been crushed. The shelters are full. There are overflow migrants sleeping in the streets, and then it's just a coincidence that suddenly the president shows up and.
Well, let me talk about what's going on in El Paso, right? El Paso did go down significantly prior to the president's visit by about 70%. And that's a good thing, Peter. That's a good thing that we've seen the numbers go down. And that is something that we should be saying, okay, that's a good job there. It has helped ease pressure all across the community, but the president's visit had nothing to do with it. And so, look, again, he went to a migrant center. He went to one of the busiest port of entry, which is in El Paso. And so the president got to see. He went to the border. He got to see for himself. Talking to. We've always been very clear that he was going to talk to the people on the ground who's working on the border, and that's what you saw. You saw him meet with the CBP. You saw him meet with partners on the ground, as I just stated, who deal with migrants and their families. And the president also is going to continue to call on Congress to take action. Look, the president has been doing the work. And if you think about the record funding, he has done more than any prior president to secure the border and build a safe, orderly, and humane immigration system. And that's what the president has been able to do. We've got 23,000 agents working to secure the border, and we'll soon be hiring 300 more. That's what the president has done here. And so, again, he went down there, he saw for himself, and I'll just leave it there.
Wow. So, yes, so much to talk about there. They talked about the border there. The border is an absolute nightmare. You heard her say that they have 23,000 Border Patrol agents, and yet they're still struggling here, big time here. I think that's the most. I think she mentioned that's the most Border Patrol agents they've ever had. Yet look at how difficult of a job it is here for this entire issue here. And don't forget the walls there, built by former President Biden. And still, look at what a nightmare it is for this. Imagine if the wall wasn't built, and we have 23,000 Border Patrol agents, and look at what a nightmare it is. We've had millions of illegal migrants come over the border, and we're still having this issue. So we have the wall, we have 23,000 Border Patrol agents, they're still hiring more, and we still have this issue. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. So yeah, it's just absolutely just words left unsaid. Yeah, right. So and then we got these new, Biden in hot water here over the second set of classified documents found here in the garage where his Corvette was. He said it was a locked garage where the Corvette was. So yeah, obviously now he's in hot water now, kind of like former President Donald Trump was. Yeah, so the differences here is that he was a vice president. Obviously, he couldn't declassify documents. He's not saying that he did declassify the documents. The kind of differences here is that when they found them, they gave them back immediately. So there is some kind of differences there. I don't think that he knew that he had them at all. So that's why they kind of did the searches here. Some similarities there because once Trump finally, the documents were taken back by the FBI, once kind of happened afterwards, Trump did hire a team after that raid happened. Trump did hire a team to go and search the rest of his residences, and they did find more documents. Once they found more documents at Trump's residences, then Trump found more documents as well and gave them back after all that Mar-a-Lago raid stuff happened as well. So, yeah, but there's some differences there because Biden was a vice president, but apparently I think we're kind of learning that vice presidents have some documents as well. Whether or not that's supposed to be that way, we're not sure. How many documents vice presidents have or not. Now, there's some kind of confusion here because Biden's the president now. So technically, he's allowed to have access to anything now because he's president. So there's nothing that's kind of unclassified to him now. But he shouldn't have had access to them in the intermediate time where you know, there was those years in between where he wasn't president and they should have been sent back. So there's obviously that, because he should have sent them back when he wasn't president. But the problem is that nobody knew about them, so the National Archives never asked for them back. So that's kind of where the issue, where Trump got in trouble, because the National Archives was asking for them back over and over and over and over. And in the subpoena documents that were made public, there's actually records of them asking Trump over and over and over. They actually have documentation of them asking Trump for them over and over and over, and actually subpoenaed him saying, we need these back, we need these back, we need these back. And Trump just didn't send them back. And even Trump publicly stated that he was, quote, negotiating with them, in his words is what he says. And basically just months and even, you know, over a year, almost 2 years went by where he basically just didn't give the documents back. And eventually the FBI got involved and basically said, enough is enough. We're just going to go and take them back because he won't give them back. And that's when the whole raid on Mar-a-Lago took place, because all these months went by and he just wasn't giving it back. So that's when they went and just took him back. So now no criminal charges have been filed, at least up to this point. We don't know if there is going to be. So yeah. Now, of course, depends on what side of the aisle you're on, Republican or Democrat. If you're a full-blown Republican, you're probably saying, well, Biden shouldn't have had these. If you're full-blown Democrat, you're saying, well, Trump was wrong because he didn't send them back when they asked. If you're in the middle, you're probably saying they're both kind of wrong. You know, so this is kind of a thing here. You know, I think if Trump would have just sent them back when the National Archives asked him repeatedly over and over and over for months, we wouldn't even have known about it. He wouldn't have gotten in any trouble. That's where I think the trouble had happened, because they just repeatedly asked him over and over and over, and they even have documentation in those files that became public from the judge that said it's overwhelmingly public interest that these files should be made public interest, and then it became public knowledge and was made public. And then we've seen that there was all these basically inquiries, or for lack of a better word there, that they were sending to Trump that we need to have these back, and they actually subpoenaed him, and he just ignored it, and he just wasn't complying. So I think that's the big issue on why they raided Trump, and people were upset about that, but he wouldn't give them back. So and the differences here with Biden is that as soon as they found them, he literally gave them back the next day. Now, the Republicans are mad that he had them to begin with, but I don't know if he even knew. So as soon as he found them, he gave them back. So that's kind of the issue. And now he's going to kind of be in some hot water saying, well, you shouldn't have had them. You shouldn't have had them. So we'll see what happens here with that going forward, and I'll keep you up to date here. You can kind of see that Fox News, I think he's a Fox News reporter, kind of grilling the press secretary, and Biden kind of saying, well, it was in a locked garage. Yeah, and Trump kind of tried to say the same thing when he said it was in a locked office and a locked basement and stuff. So yeah, this is where it's going to kind of get in a sticky situation here. So yeah, you guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. We'll see what happens. So let me know your thoughts. Keep you up to date here. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. And this way you won't miss out on any new videos. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And here's my newest video about the IRS sending out millions of checks for $1,232. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.